14. We're headed to Blackberry. You'll come down here at the bottom here and you'll see Preacher Anse's cabin to the left. Here and where the election round fight took place. But first, I think we'll come up on the Whale and John Vance's property where he has the McCoy cemetery of the children that were buried, that we can visit only on Memorial Day. So let's see what we got here. Is that him? There's John Vance. I didn't get a good picture of him there, but he's up there. Coming up here, you'll see a sign up here on the right there. There's one. Not a very good one, but the Whale is out here. Here's these signs, and if you look up that way, there's the Whale.
That's the original Randall and Sarah McCoy property. The original home place that was burned down by the Hatfield fraction.
In 1888.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the property. I think they sold over 300 acres when they moved to Pikeville.
Sarah had
included in that 300 acres was the cemetery, of course, the graves of 6 of his children.
Wow.
6 of their children.
Which now belongs to John Vance.
Yeah, John Vance owns it. And that's the property that was in dispute back in 2002 when Pike County Tourism come up with some flunkies to come in here and sign a lawsuit, file a lawsuit against John Vance, wanting access to his property so they could run a bus and let people view it.
Yeah.
And John took him to court. Of course, he won, and he should have. Ron McCoy come in here from North Carolina. Didn't even know he was related to the McCoys until he was 35 years old. Then gets his 15 minutes of fame with all kinds of publicity by calling it the Hatfield McCoy lawsuit. It was not a Hatfield McCoy lawsuit. It was a McCoy Vance lawsuit. There was no Hatfields involved, but of course it wouldn't have got the attention that it got. Now this hill, this used to be called Blackberry Mountain, and you're going to see a sign here in a minute. Well, that's Randall McCoy Trail, but now they have changed the name of this mountain several years ago to Hatfield McCoy Mountain. But to the older people or people that grew up here, it's known as Blackberry Mountain, and it leads from Blackberry Fort over to Blackberry Creek. Over there where Randall McCoy lived was known as Blackberry Fork, and we're coming up at the bottom of this hill on Blackberry Creek. And like Sheila said, this is where the cabin is, and we're going to stop there and do a small video, so we'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, see you in a little bit. Okay, here we are, pulling in to where the election round fight took place. And that is
That's Preacher Anse Hatfield's cabin.
Replica.
And can you get out?
Yeah. We'll have to turn it off and
Okay, just turn it off.
Okay, here we are at Preacher Anse's cabin. But there it is. That's pretty cool. I like that. And of course this is where the hog trial took place in the election round fight. And they put up a new sign here. I guess I haven't seen this one. Hog trial cabin. Cabin hours.
I don't like the walkway they put
Yeah,
in. It looks better as a regular cabin.
I agree. It takes away from the cabin, I feel. I like it.
Put a little gravel path out through here for people to walk.
Yeah. It takes away from what it looked like.
Now these are the original rocks from the original cabin.
Cool.
The majority of them.
Right.
That was built back.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna see if we can get anything in here. No, it's all dark. They had a time there that it was showing tours or whatever, but it's okay. What's that worst up there? This looks nice. Now,
This is the original steps. If you'll come down here, you'll see the footprint. Or at least from the 50s or so.
here?
Yeah. There used to be a little handprint. Here's another set of footprints.
There's a little one. Yeah.
Now, if you'll shine across the road there, over across the road is where the election fight took place. Across that creek, that was the property where they was laying up against the trees and everything, drinking moonshine, having their picnics. The cabin itself, this is where they voted at. But they would mingle over there across the creek in the shade. You can see where that hill's in the back of it, so they had plenty of shade there.
Yep.
And that's where the stabbing took place. Well, the first fight was again Tolbert, McCoy, and Bad Lice Hatfield, and then now this is where I was born and raised. That's a typical Blackberry driver there.
Yeah.
That's typical. And the cabin, of course, is where the famous pig trial was held, with Preacher Anse being the justice of the peace. Over here's the sign talking about, one side of the sign talking about the hog trial. And again, we did a story on this a while back, but we didn't correct. We meant to, and we forgot. But if you'll notice there, it says in 1873, Randolph McCoy accused Floyd Hatfield stealing his hog. That's the incorrect date. It was actually 1878 when the hog trial took place. So that's a misprint, or somebody didn't have their facts right, which I'm just going to tell you, Pike County Tourism is not the, it's just not the people to go to for your facts on the feud. It's they've turned it commercialized, and they've tried to promote it to their van tours and t-shirt sales, and it's turned into a commercialization thing, and they'll tell you anything you want to hear just to entertain you. And again, the truth of the feud is interesting enough without altering it. On the other side, I think, is the election ground fight in August '82. An election was held near the Jerry Hatfield's house. A fight broke out between Tolbert McCoy and Elias Hatfield. Now that's correct. A lot of times you'll see, especially in West Virginia, where they talk about the fight broke out between the McCoys and Ellis and Hatfield. That fight didn't break out till later. Tolbert's brothers joined in the fight, as did Ellison. Now see, that's incorrect. Tolbert's brothers were not involved in the Elias Hatfield fight and Tolbert. They were not involved in the fight. They didn't join in until Ellis and Hatfield stood up and challenged Tolbert McCoy. So once again, your Pike County Tourism and your Kentucky Historical Society has wrote something in the history that will forevermore, some people will believe that, especially when some of the older generation are gone and no longer stand up to tell what really happened. The fight was between Tolbert and Bad Lice. Bad Lice was my great uncle. He was Preacher Anse Hatfield's brother. And him and Tolbert got in a fight right over there, over a fiddle, over some money. And McCoy actually got the best of Bad Lice. And after Bad Lice sits down to catch his breath, of course they're all drinking moonshine, they're all drunk. Ellis and Hatfield, who was also intoxicated, or at least drinking moonshine that day, stood up and said, "Won't you try that on me?" And of course him and Tolbert went to fighting, and they fought for a good while. And then there's newspaper articles that says Ellison pulled the first knife, and then Tolbert pulled his knife. It don't matter. In the end, Ellison had a big rock, had Tolbert on the ground, going to smash his head. That's non-debatable or disputable. And when he was going to hit Tolbert with the rock.
Mm-hmm.
The brothers jumped in, Wilm and Farmer, not Bud Jr., not Randall Jr., but Wilm.
Yeah.
And after they stabbed and shot Ellison, they took off running. And when the Hatfields, the constables were there, and when they grabbed the McCoys, they grabbed Bud. They grabbed Randall
The
Jr.
15-year-old.
15 years old instead of Wilm. So these historical markers, a lot of times you can't, it's sad, but you people, I don't know if they don't do their research or if they
Right.
think it's more enlightening to tell another story.
Hmm.
Over here's another monument.
On the other
I
side.
think it's on the hog maybe.
Yeah,
hog trial.
the hog trial.
And
They
that
got it,
tells in the fall, now they got the date correct there if you'll notice. In the fall of 1878, Randolph McCoy brought charges, and that's correct.
Yep, 6 Hatfields, 6 McCoys.
The McCoys felt betrayed, and open hostilities soon erupted between the Hatfields, and brother-in-law Floyd Hatfield was killed by 2 of Randolph McCoy's nephews while he was hunting. They were tried and acquitted. They wasn't really tried. That is Wall Hatfield, who's justice of the peace. That happened in West Virginia. And Valentine Wall Hatfield, who was justice of the peace there, he didn't try them. He just, by his own opinion, thought that it was self-defense and didn't charge them. Well, I think they had been charged criminally. They'd been picked up on a warrant, but when they went before him, he ruled it self-defense and let it go. So that case didn't go to trial.
Right.
Back here in the back, Sheila, if you'll notice, this little ranch-style fence back here. Now,
Yeah.
once again, Preacher Anse Hatfield that lived here was my great-great-grandfather on the Hatfield side. His daughter, Nancy Hatfield, married Asa McCoy.
Right.
Now, there's several Asa McCoys in the feud, so it's not the Asa McCoy that worked for Devil Anse. It's not the Asa McCoy that lived in West Virginia. In fact, when Asa McCoy, we're going to go to Asa's house here in
In a little bit, yep.
over at Stringtown. He was the son of Uriah McCoy. But when Asa and Nancy Hatfield got married, they got married right here at Preacher Anse's.
Mm-hmm.
He married them, the preacher did. And they had a little small cabin right out here, just a one-room cabin right over here where this old well
fence is and stuff.
This old well or whatever, I think it's a well that was here at one time. And they had a little small cabin right in this area here. Oh, that's a barbecue grill, I guess now. But I think there was a well.
This fence right here is.
Yeah, and their cabin was somewhere right in here. And it was just a one-room cabin, and there was a well out through here somewhere.
Yeah.
And they lived here for a while. And Philip McCoy, my grandfather, was born right here in this little one-room cabin. This is where my grandpa was born, out back of Preacher Anse.
Pretty cool.
And, so we're going to go up here in a minute, right up here on this hill.
This way?
Right up here is Preacher Anse Hatfield Cemetery.
Yeah.
We'll be up there
that way
in a little bit. First, we're going to go on up Blackberry and do some filming. I guess that's what you was going to do.
Yeah. However you want to do it.
And, all right, anything else?
No, that's just it. There's Preacher Anse's cabin. That is so cool.
That's the replica.
I said that at the beginning.
Earlier.
Yeah, the replica.
Replica cabin.
Okay.
And again, if you wanna know the history, it says tourpikecounty.com, but that's probably not your. I don't know what to tell you. It's sad, but some people, it's all commercialism, and
Well,
people that's actually related, we've come up short because the truth has been so distorted, and once it's distorted like that, there's it's hard to. Sometimes fiction is better than truth, I guess. But anyway.
Well, it says on this sign here, hog trial cabin tours from 8 to 8.
Oh, that's how they make their. That's what they want.
But it's 9 o'clock.
Huh?
It's 9 o'clock now. I was hoping it'd be open so we could go inside.
But anyway, it is what it is. Okay.
There we go.